So we've got a rumor saying the Hawks are listening to trade offers for John Collins. That does not mean that they are actively shopping him at the moment, but I do still think this is interesting, and I don't think it's surprising. I mean, restricted free agent, he wants a whole lot of money. Clearly, Atlanta is not comfortable with giving him exactly what he wants, and if they gave him that money, they would be locking themselves into this team, and this team is not bad, not great. Granted, I don't think Collins has hit his ceiling as a player just yet, but the writing is kind of on the wall. Now, this said, for Atlanta's sake, if they were going to maximize benefiting from Collins while not having to pay him, it might be better for them to try to organize a sign and trade in the offseason. At the same time, Collins still has the power as the free agent in that scenario. The other thing I will say about a Collins deal and why it's a little more interesting than your average trade rumor, number one, he doesn't make that much money. Number two, I could actually picture a team that is on the fringes of the playoffs or the play-in tournament, I guess, considering moving a pick that could potentially become a lottery pick for Collins because he's 23 and because he's a restricted free agent. If you're willing to match any offer he gets, you can guarantee yourself holding on to him for a long time. And it should also be said there is a chance that the Hawks end up re-signing Collins if the offers he gets in restricted free agency a year from now are just not what he foresaw. Anyway, who's the team? I don't know. I mean, people have been talking about the Celtics. I don't really think a move is there. Mainly because, Marcus Smart and picks. I don't think Danny Ainge wants to trade Marcus Smart, and for Atlanta's sake, I don't think that's a great return for Collins. I mean, you can get the fit, defender next to Trae Young and stuff, but I still don't think it's good enough unless the Celtics just went crazy with draft picks. And besides that, it's not going to happen because I saw someone on Twitter say like Langford and Neesmith plus picks. Like, that's a terrible trade. If Atlanta did that, then just move them out of Atlanta. I've seen Miami talked about a little bit. I don't think they would want to move Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, or Precious Achiuwa. So at that point, don't really think that move's going to happen either. Is it a possibility that OKC would choose to offload any of their treasure chest of picks now for John Collins if he becomes really available? I mean, he's 23. It's not as if he would be super fast-forwarding their rebuild. I think deep down that front office would love to be as bad as possible this year, but, I don't know. I guess that's a possibility still. I think you could make a case that at least on offense, John Collins next to Karl Anthony Towns could be kind of devastating. However, I doubt the T-Wolves would want to move any more picks. And as far as their roster, I'm not really sure what the move would be. Like, do we think Malik Beasley could be some amazing fit for Atlanta? He'd certainly be cheaper than John Collins. He's putting up 20 a game. Maybe. I say cheaper as in after this season. At the moment, Collins is cheaper than Beasley. I guess similar to OKC, do we think Houston would offload any of their sudden huge stash of picks for Collins? I mean, the Christian Wood thing could be cool on offense at least. Now, the thing with Houston, though, similar to the Celtics, is who are the players that would be moving? I mean, the Oladipo situation, it remains very interesting, but for Atlanta's sake, it's like they would be trading a dicey free agent and they would be acquiring a dicey free agent. So I don't know if they would really want to do that. And after that, I don't think Houston's got the players, Kevin Porter Jr., I don't think he's much of an asset given his character stuff. We'll see what he does there. And, Jayshawn Tate is cool. I don't know if Atlanta would be, going that crazy for Jayshawn Tate, you know what I mean? Do we think the Hornets would go for Collins? Again, the idea is, well, they might have to give up picks, but he's young. The fit next to LaMelo certainly makes sense. And, P.J. Washington's good. Miles Bridges is good. Collins is better than both of them. As far as the players the Hawks would want in that sort of a move, I don't know. Between those two, Rozier or Devontae, there's a possibility there, I guess. Do we think Denver would consider John Collins? They probably need more defensive players, but screw it. Let's just score 150 points a game. They would maybe have to give up MPJ, and that could be the non-starter for them. But they have some picks they can still move. If we can think about a team like Sacramento, I mean, the idea is, well, Bagley's not working out. Let's just get the fully realized version of Bagley, and maybe the Hawks would want Buddy Hield or whatever, and then, I mean, the Hawks would have to throw in more money and that sort of a deal. The thing with that, though, is I just don't know if John Collins is really what the Kings need. I think the Kings need, like, an awesome defensive center. I mean, Rashawn Holmes does what he can, but he's still Rashawn Holmes at the end of it all. If you're determined for the Kings, I mean, maybe you could throw Harrison Barnes in there instead. I don't think the Kings should trade Barnes. I think he's pretty important for what they do. I've seen Cleveland talked about a little bit, and I get the fit. I really do. I mean, yeah, you'd need to wait for Kevin Love to be gone for it to really be a thing one day, but I do get it. I think there's a little bit of fear of, like, Collins on defense with, Garland. And, I mean, Sexton, his effort is there. Whether he can really be an awesome defender for, like, stretches of seasons and years, I don't know. But anyway, Cleveland is they're going in the wrong direction. They've lost 5 in a row. And I think by the time the trade deadline is here, which is probably when Collins will get traded, if he gets traded at all, I think they're going to be too bad to consider moving a pick. When I'm talking about potentially moving a pick, I'm talking about teams that are, like, the odds of their pick is, like, at number 12. Whereas Cleveland, they could be in the running for a top 5 pick or something by the time the season ends. Do I have any others? Maybe Toronto. You'd have to figure out some Collins next to Siakam thing while probably still having a big man out there. But, I mean, for the sake of the Hawks, the Hawks getting like a solid, affordable dude, I mean, Norman Powell could be part of that move. The Raptors would probably be more willing to think about moving picks than other teams would. I guess that's a possibility. I would think about the Spurs for a moment. I don't really know what a move would be, though. Even if they were willing to give up their pick this year. I mean, I don't really know what the Hawks would think of some of the Spurs young guys. I would imagine DeJounte and Keldon Johnson are off the table completely. So at that point, I mean, I don't know. Would the Hawks be interested in Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, maybe Derek White? I think he would have the best chance among all the Spurs dudes of stepping into Atlanta right now and making a difference. That said, he was hurt and he's come back and he hasn't looked too awesome since, but he was really good in the bubble and shooting threes, attacking the basket. He's on an affordable contract for the next few years. I think that would be kind of interesting. And defensively, I think he could help out Atlanta too. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. There really is with the John Collins thing between the Hawks just deciding, screw it, we'll overpay for the guy. Them trading him, them agreeing to or not agreeing, but Collins not getting the offers that he thinks he could get in the offseason. I don't know. You could convince me of kind of anything to play out with this situation.